Alright guys, it's time for me to take a morning walk. And yes, I'm wearing a face mask out because I've been feeling a little skeptical about catching something, and I'm not going to mention it, hence why I'm wearing the mask. So, in case if you saw my last video, I made a statement that I just got a new job at Buffalo Wild Wings, and so far I've worked there for 2 days and it's not that bad as a dishwasher. Thanks to someone else being a dishwasher with me, it's not that bad. It only gets harder at the end where they start giving you all the bigger tools and all the bigger kitchen supplies, like all the big drawers and the meat grinders and the grease traps, you know? Those are like the hardest. But everything else are usually the smaller tools and the little plates that are like metal. Those are by far the most common. But anyway, it's not that bad. And I'm thinking about staying there for a little while. Hopefully more than a year. Because here's something that I haven't told you before. I've had a history of short-lived jobs. Most of them were just temporary jobs, which could be one of the main reasons. And as for full-time jobs and other jobs, it's just bad luck. Maybe it's because lots of places think I'm useless, or maybe I'm just not fit for the job or whatever. I don't know. I've been working a lot since 2016, the same year that I graduated high school. I really wanted to talk about having jobs in my last channel before it was terminated, but I was too busy. I never had the chance. I was too focused on other videos. That's why I never mentioned having jobs being mentioned in my old channel. But here I am now, finally mentioning having jobs. My first job was also temporary. It was at this one place that had like milk products, a very small factory really, that brought in packaged milk products, and then we had to package them again in more accurate forms, and then sending them into trucks. And I occasionally got to smash all the cardboard into some kind of compactor thing. Yeah, that's what I did. I was there from like March 2016 to August of that same year. My time was up there. I think it was because it was a school program. And because I graduated, I didn't like it. I didn't like that job, and it was minimum at the time, $7.25. If you live in Virginia, you should know that at the time. Now it's $9.25 or $9.75. Thanks to inflation, the minimum wage has finally been raised. Let's hope that the inflation doesn't get any worse. Thank God that the gas prices have been slowing down in Virginia, that is. I don't know if it's in any other state where the gas prices has slowed down, or it's still expensive as always. I don't know. I mean, inflation's been around for a very long time. Even longer than most of us that have lived, you know? Everything's getting more expensive and we have to live with it. It's the government, it's the economy, you name it, it's their decision. But as for me having previous jobs, there's just a lot to talk about. I didn't work that much in 2017. It was once again temp jobs. The first one I had that year was like a farm, and I was there for a little while until that same summer. And then I worked at this one place called Blue Ridge Industries. It was a little factory. I did machine operating. It wasn't that bad. And I was only there for like 2 months. And then I took a tiny break until I went to another temp job called, it was Home Depot, but not the store. It was the factory, the distribution center. And it was way too heavy. I quit the same day. And then after that, I went to McDonald's, and that's when I brought up that. I think I did mention Amazon and McDonald's on my last channel before it was terminated, of course. Those were the only jobs that I think I remembered, while every other job before that I didn't mention. And yes, there are a lot of loud noises. Now I know how Logan 30 Acre of SML feels about loud noises in the background of videos. Yeah. Anyway, I worked at McDonald's for a month. I hated it. It was way too exhausting, way too annoying, and harsh because the coworkers weren't that nice. And let me tell you, there were a lot of regular customers at that particular McDonald's showing up every single day, ordering the same damn thing. Yeah. And then we move on to Amazon. My first time there, I was there for like 3 months, from October to January, and that was just a month before we moved out. I'm gonna just stop right here for now. It was just before we moved out of our townhouse when we finally went to, when I left Amazon, and then I was jobless for like a couple months. And then, of course, later in the summer, when I got to the apartment, that's when I finally got to work at Wendy's, another fast food job, and another job that I really hated. Amazon closed temporarily for remodeling and stuff, and it didn't reopen until late in the summer, around the same time I started working at Wendy's. And how long was I at Wendy's? From August of 2018 to November of that same year, for about 3 months. I left. They fired me because I guess I wasn't up to par. I don't remember that much, but I do remember that I was not doing so well. I had to do dishwashing and drive-through orders, which is exhausting. If I just did one over the other, it would have been okay, but doing both simultaneously is such a nasty chore. Anyway, though, I bet that things would have been so much more interesting now if I never went to Wendy's. If I just had another temp job instead of a fast food job, it would have been a lot more easy. And then I was jobless for the rest of that year. And in 2019, there are way too many temp jobs to count. The longest one that year was me getting back to Blue Ridge through a different agency. And then after that, I finally worked at Chuck E. Cheese, and that was the longest job I've had. It was late 2019, right before the pandemic started. I was there from like December to December of 2020, so a full year. And why did I leave? Because business was slow, of course, and for a different reason that I won't mention. It's totally confidential. That's why I'm not going to bring up the other reason. But one main reason was because business was slow at the time. And I worked 2 other temp jobs during the beginning of the summer during COVID. One of them was a cookie factory job, and then the other was during the winter, and it was a milk factory job. And both of them sucked major balls. And I shouldn't have worked at neither of them. I should have just continued working at Chuck E. Cheese as well as babysitting, which I already mentioned in my first video on this channel. And then after leaving Chuck E. Cheese, I went to 2 more temp jobs just last year. And that was, of course, an ice cream factory and a distribution warehouse called Trex. And both of them didn't last that long because, you know, they were both gross, and, you know, workers there weren't that nice, and the work itself was kind of heavy. The ice cream factory, I just did the packing and shipping. Meanwhile, at Trex, it's more of a big manual labor warehouse with I don't know, household products that are really big and heavy. It's hard to describe. Trex is spelled T-R-E-X. Yeah. And then after that, I was jobless for a little while again, and then finally, Amazon. I was at Amazon again, and it was completely different compared to when I first got there. And I was there from October to May, October 2021 to May of this year, and I was let go again, of course. And now, I was jobless again for about a couple months, and now I'm finally at Buffalo Wild Wings, and that's my job now. Let's hope I stay there longer than all those other jobs instead of just constantly hopping around, job hopping. That just makes me look bad. Anyway, that's all for now. That's all I got for jobs. Just a whole, I guess this is like a video version of a resume that I like to give everyone on YouTube. Alright, so I hope you all enjoyed this video. So just give a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll give you some more updates on how things are at Buffalo Wild Wings, as well as other videos that you can enjoy. So yeah, peace out, rock on.